Lord have mercy. Welcome to another episode of the Wiley Show. Listen, I was trying to get my camera set up and I messed up my green screen. But anywho, we are live, and I'm sorry that I did the live so late, but I had like a big day today. Had a lot of stuff that was going on today, but I definitely want to come on and talk about what's happening in DC. I want to get into talking about want to talk about Kanye West. Definitely want to get into Kanye West situation with Jeffree Star. I heard about that, but I want to say what happened in DC. It was really shocking when I got the news that it was a riot going on in DC. That these white folks stormed the Capitol, and I'm like, what's going on? So apparently they had a mega protest or a march, and Trump was speaking at this march, and they was having a conversation. And he was like, well, we're going to march down Pennsylvania Avenue. And it went from that. And people were at the gate. They were surrounding, pretty much surrounding the Capitol, or, where, the Senate, where Congress be, and I'm like, what's going on? So they literally had like, look, I would say little gate around, the Capitol Police was around, and then the people was like a big crowd. And they literally let them go right through and go and storm the Capitol. So it got so bad that they have stormed into Nancy Pelosi office. They stormed into different people's office. They stormed one person. I was a picture that was floating around that he took the stand of the he had took the stand of from one of the chambers. Then they had to get the Congress and escort them out. Got to escort out the Senate underground and put them in a location off site. And they really wasn't telling us. They had to literally put them in tunnels. And then you had people that snuck into the state capitol. Literally, I'm talking about just crazy. They were in there taking pictures, calling, all in there. Then the police was like literally taking definitely taking pictures and selfies with these criminals. Now, if this was black people, let's just be real. If this was black people that stormed until the Capitol and in DC, if these were like mega supporters, did all that stuff, we will be literally mourning for the death of those black protesters, or they would be calling them rioters. There's no way in the world that they would have survived. But these white folks, only one person was shot and killed. Only one. And I think 3 other people died for medical emergencies. But if this was like black protesters, if this was me and 100 or 300, 400 black folks just storming the Capitol, it's no in a world that we will be breathing. When I went to the public library and had a mental breakdown, I got tased. It wasn't no, oh, let them go. Let's take a selfie. No, baby, I got tased. Could have got shot. But these white folks, they came there like they owned the joint. And months ago, when Black Lives Matter, when it was a protest, they had the National Guard. They had all this. But when it came to their protesters, what a National Guard? They just walking in and take a picture. And one white lady, it was so funny. She got mace because they started to mace people. She was like, oh my gosh, they maced me because you're going around terrorizing and doing property damage, and you invading and putting at risk of the congressmen and women in the Senate. You're putting these people at risk. You can't do that. That's illegal. So you better be glad they just sprayed you with some mace. So one lady did get get killed. She tried to escape in the window and got shot. And it was one black, Capitol Police. He was the one. He was trying to protect, I guess, one of the floors, and he was just outnumbered. It was so many people that outnumbered him, and he had to put out his baton. And I'm like, didn't have his weapon, did not pull out his weapon. I'm like, if those were black people, they would be on the media saying, look at these animals, look what they're doing. They would have been arrested, tased, and killed. When the Black Panthers, when they stormed into the California state capitol, when they stormed into there with their rifles, and they literally done that, laws have changed, but it's nowhere in the world that black people would have gotten away with that storming the U.S. Capitol. It was nowhere in the world. They literally had, Confederate flags. It was like they had the Trump flags. They were all in there. And now, mind you, Trump did this strategically. He is trying his best to make sure that the votes do not get certified. So Congress is both chambers are certifying the votes of the state. It's in the Constitution, but it's not a way where you go in there and try to take it away and do that. You just pretty much certify the results. They literally publicized this process of our democracy and made it out of a joke. And these Republicans that literally say, oh, Pennsylvania should be called in question and Georgia should be called in question, is a joke with them among themselves. This is crazy. And they're sad because it's a resistance that's going on. And a lot of those white people, they're afraid because they are in the minority. They are no longer in the majority anymore. They're no longer the deciding vote of president. It's the world is changing. If you look at Georgia, you got a Jewish man and you also got an African-American preacher that will be serving in the Senate. So the world is changing. The South is changing. It's not the same country as it was in 30 years ago. This country is changing, and it's more and more people in power as people of color are getting into power. So a lot of white folks, they are afraid of that. They can't stand that. So they all around, they are all around in the country. They're mad, they're upset. They are they want to storm, they want to protest, they want to do property damage, they want to terrorize because they're so frightened that black folks are now waking up and using their power at the ballot box. And they can't stand that. And so Trump is upset because he lost and he put out this lie that they cheated him, and his own party in Georgia was like, no, we didn't cheat. You did not, it was no voter fraud. We can't find any. And so he went to his supporters and putting out this lie. And then he, let me see if I can pull up Trump tweets, because he put his own president, his vice president, threw him under the bus. Let me see if I can pull up of his tweets. So let me see if I can find his tweets that he said about the vice president. Let me see if I can find it. But I pretty much what he said about the vice president, he said, if vice president come through for us, we'll win the presidency. Many states wants to decertify the mistake they made in certifying the incorrect, even fraudulent number in the process, not approved by their state legislature, which is a must. Mike can send it back. So he put that out. Then Mike Pence pretty much told the president, no, bruh, I can't, stop this process. I have no constitutional power. This is just a ceremony of something I'm doing. I don't have no type of power to change the direction of the vote. I cannot flip the vote for you. So then he started to throw Pence under the bus. Oh my gosh, Pence did not do it. He did not stand up. And then Pence had to get evacuated out of the U.S. Capitol because MAGA supporter terrorists is invaded the U.S. Capitol, putting people at risk, and this whole security force didn't stop them. Now, mind you, we have one of the most powerful police force in DC. They got the DC police, they got the US Capitol Police, they got the Secret Service, they got the DEA, they got Homeland Security, they have FBI. All of those agencies were overrun by MAGA supporters. But months ago, when Black Lives Matter supporters were protesting, they had everything. They were guarding the door. They had all their weapons drawn. They had the dogs out. They had everything out. But when those white folks with those red hats invaded the U.S. Capitol, now all the security protocol went out the window. And some of them took a selfie. And lives were lost because of their foolish action. That was very foolish in them to do that. Now, do I think the President Trump should resign? Oh, absolutely he should resign. He got a couple of weeks left, and he's raising a lot of hell. He's throwing Pence under the bus, and all of these Republicans that are taking Trump's side, that literally trying to halt the process, they're trying to do this for their own political gain. They don't care. They already know Trump lost. But they would get up there and say, oh my God, Trump didn't lose. It was all fraud. They did this. And they're saying this because they're looking at 2024 because they know they're going to need that MAGA base. And the Democrats, they're out here networking. They're banging on doors. They're getting people registered. They're not out here, let's do a massive, let's just invade the U.S. Capitol. No. They're out here literally changing and making the Senate at a 50-50 split, and they can't stand that a black woman will have the deciding vote in the Senate chambers. They can't stand that. Most white people, if you talk to them, if they're honest, if you could be a fly on the wall in their homes, they having this conversation. They know their time in power is dwindling down. Black people, people of color, is waking up. They understand the power that they have. And now that Atlanta, Georgia is just the beginning of the change that you're going to see in this country. And you're going to continue to see white resistance in this country. You're going to continue to see that. They're not going to go easy. They're going to have resistance because in their mind, this is our country. Ain't nowhere in the world. What do you mean that Trump lost? How can that be when we voted for him? When you got outvoted? And Trump did all this foolishness. The Republicans lost 2 Senate seats in Georgia because Trump stupidity, Trump foolishness, Trump childish antics literally got him on the phone with the Secretary of State in Atlanta, in Georgia, and tried to threaten him and to pressure him to flip the vote in Trump's favor. And the man said, no, he can't do that. So now Trump is doing all of this, causing all of this confusion because he knows he lost. But he cannot come to that conclusion because he do not want to look like a weak man. Because as a little boy, when he was raised on his father, Don Sr., when he was raised under that, he was raised not to show any weakness. He was raised to lie. That's how he was raised. Mary Trump book, when she broke down the situation with her uncle, you literally see it. And I read that book, and you see that this man cannot handle losing, and he will cause as much confusion as possible to keep his mind that, okay, I'm still in power. That's what he's doing. And then when he was suggested to make a statement because Biden was forced to come out and do a press conference, and Trump came out and pretty much like, okay, y'all stop, be peaceful. We understand. Then Twitter had to like his account because he was putting out stuff like, oh, they're good people, pretty much continued to egg it on. So Twitter had to step up. And finally, Twitter was like, listen, we're going to lock his account for 12 hours because the stuff that he's putting out, let me see if I can read the message that they have on his Twitter account. If this was any other type of person, they would literally be blocked from Twitter. But they put it out there that the tweet is no longer available because it violated Twitter rules. So finally, Twitter is taking down Trump account, but they locked it for a couple of hours. And now people was like, well, y'all wasn't saying this when Black Lives Matter. No, when Black Lives Matter were protested, they were tased, they were maced. When Trump wanted to go to that church and have that Bible, Trump got out and literally the protests weren't even doing nothing. They weren't even putting nobody at risk. Nobody lives were at risk. They weren't invading no property at that moment. But he still ordered his people to spray them and to throw tear gas, all for him to hold the Bible upside down in front of a church for a photo op. But with his people, oh, now Fox News is like, oh, it ain't that bad. Oh, no, it was a security glitch. It wasn't a security. The security let them through. They didn't stop them. They are the highly trained people. But they couldn't come to to take care out their own people. But if those people were Black, it would have been a different story. It would have been families will have to be burying their loved ones if those people were Black. They will not live to tell the story, and they will make sure that each of them, if they try to breach the gate, they won't live to tell the story. Then CNN, I was watching CNN all day today. So CNN, they didn't show the woman that was shot and killed. They didn't show her being shot and killed. And Don Lemon was like, hey, they should show it because when Black people are killed, they show it on the news. When Black people get killed, they show it all on the news when they die. But when one of their own get killed, they don't want to show it on the news. And Don Lemon was like, they should show it, but I don't have the power. Of course you don't have the power. That's why you need to have your own media. That's why owning your own media matters. That's why owning Black media matters. That's why we need to invest in having our own media outlets. And for those media outlets that we do have, that's why it's important to support those media outlets. You see how CNN, how biased they was? Oh, they don't want to show that white woman getting shot. But that would have been a Black person. That would have been me trying to climb through that window and get shot. It'd have been all over the news, playing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It wouldn't have been that, oh no, we don't want to show this. It's not good to show. But if that was me climbing through that window, oh, best believe you'd have looked like Miss Cleo from Set It Off. Not from Cleo from Set It Off. They'd have showed it all the way there. They would have had music playing. They'd have showed all the whole thing, seeing how the body would drop. They had the camera zoomed in. They'd have played it on all major networks. And then one Black lady, she posted on Twitter. I don't know, she probably was joking, but I'm going to just read her tweet. She was like, yeah, I'm heading to the U.S. Capitol. And I tweeted her, I said, fool, if you don't sit down, this ain't our battle. That ain't our fight. That's them acting crazy because they losing power. They can't phantom being in the minority. Let them fight. Let them go and invade the U.S. Capitol. And I'm looking at it. I'm looking on the sideline and I'm laughing because I'm like, where the security at? Y'all can't control your own people. They came and just dominate all the police forces that they have and just dominate them. Then one lady, she crippled. I think she probably had to get her a knee replacement or something. So I was watching CNN. So she made her way up to the U.S. Capitol, but she couldn't come downstairs, couldn't make it down the stairs no more. So they had to hold her hand and guide her down the stairs. If that was me, they would have kicked me down the stairs. If that was my Black sister or Black brothers and sisters climbing up that, they would have kicked us down them stairs. They wouldn't have let us hold one of the officers' hand down the stairs. Like, oh, here you go, Mr. Wiley. Let me help you down the stairs. Even though you commit a crime, I'ma just help you. They would have drop kicked me down them stairs. Let's be perfectly clear. Nowhere in the world. So I'm just being 100% real. And I did get tricked because I'm like, man, when I did the library situation and thank God they tased me. It wasn't no, hold on, Mr. Wiley. Let me hold your hand. Let me take a selfie. I was tased. Hit the ground. Boom, bam. Was tased. Could have been shot, but I was tased. Blood naked, just hit the ground. So it's nowhere in the world that in DC with all the legal support that they have in DC. All that police, and I've been to DC before. They got a lot of cops. It's a lot of agencies in DC. It ain't just the DC Police Department. They got Secret Service. They got FBI. They got all of these organizations. But you know why they didn't stop them? Because those are their people. And they stand by that because they're all about protecting white supremacy. They knew that those people was wrong, but their whiteness trumped their illegal activity. Oh, yeah, come on, y'all, let's do it. Because I agree with y'all talking about. Yeah, Trump should be the president. You know, most of those white cops was there. And then a one black officer, he trying to stop the white folks. Well, he had no gun. I don't know what was wrong with him. Ain't nowhere in the world I would have just went on and hide and went on sword. Don't try to stop that. He was trying to run. He had to call for backup. They was going to beat him up. Then one black woman, I don't know why she was out there, because that's what I say, stay at home. Don't try to show up to that. Don't even go to that, because that ain't your fight. But she went there. She was outside. Apparently, she socked one of the protesters, and they tried to jump on her. So the police had to intervene and just spray them with just, mace. Oh my gosh, they got away with a whole lot today. But if you don't believe in white privilege, baby, white privilege you saw it clear as day, HD. It was clear as day on yesterday. You saw white privilege. If you don't believe in white privilege, you must have been blind, because white privilege was strong on display. Either the media, they didn't know what to call them. Oh, terrorists, protesters, rioters, protesters. They doing a riot, those rioters. And they didn't know what to say. It was battling between protesters and rioters. No, they were terrorists. They were domestic terrorists. That's what they was. They weren't protesting for peace. They weren't They were literally getting an order from the president to disturb the democracy of the United States. That's what that was all about. They weren't protesting for peace. They weren't peaceful. They was cracking windows, putting lives in danger. All of that. All because Trump got up there and lied constantly. And it wasn't just Trump. Ted Cruz, every Republican that promoted the lie, they have helped this problem. They created this disease. And they helped spread it. And then Senator Lindsey Graham, now he want to say, oh, it's over. He lost. Let's move on. Oh, now you want to speak up for what is right? It's too late, Senator Lindsey Graham, because you helped build Trump up. You helped promoted the man. Like, even though you know he lied, you kept golfing with him. You didn't really call him out. You called him out during the primaries. But once he became president and all that, you started to take the lies and promote the lies. But once it got too much, now you want to speak up? Mitch McConnell, you've been doing all Trump dirty work. Oh, now you want to speak up for what is right for the Constitution? Oh, now you want to speak up for what is right? Now you want to be the voice of reason? But where was that energy in the beginning when you know Trump had been doing the Muslim ban? Trump have been doing so much in his political career. And none of these Republicans have stood up. The only Republican that voted to impeach, to convict him in the Senate as a Republican was Mitt Romney. That was the only one. The rest of the Republicans allowed Trump to continue to be the president. And so now you see now the Republican Party is split. You got those traditional Republicans, then you got the Trump Republicans. Then you got the MAGA wing of the Republican Party. And the MAGA wing, they not trying to hear, or let's compromise. Let's work together. Oh, he lost. Let's look at the facts. They ain't trying to look at the facts. Whatever their leader said, Trump said, that's what they gonna believe. They not trying you to go out there and talk about, y'all be peaceful. Let's get into the They not trying to believe that. Then you had the Deputy National Security Advisor, he resigned. Then the First Lady, Chief of Staff, she resigned. Then the White House Social Secretary, she resigned. So it's 3 people that have resigned of this mess. Then the lady that in Georgia, the senator that lost, the one that lost, she was going to vote for Georgia to kind of like stop to certify the votes in Georgia. But once she saw how they was invading the U.S. Capitol, she got scared and said, I ain't voting for that. I'm going to vote with the Democrats. And I'm just going to vote no. It's terrible. So all that was going on, and I'm literally watching. First of all, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a movie or something. I'm like, is this a movie? Is I'm watching a movie or something like that? Or this is a Netflix movie? Did I leave Netflix? I couldn't believe it that this was the U.S. Capitol getting invaded by MAGA folks that get in hotel rooms, don't even stay in D.C., travel to create confusion, and they didn't stop it. Anytime black people come to the U.S. Capitol to come, it's a lot of us, they stop everything. Congress don't be in session. The Senate don't be in session. The president skip town. But for they folk, they all there and just let them happen. If they're mad and upset because black folks are getting to power. You got Latino folks are learning their power. And they're outnumbering white people. And some white folks are not, voting against white supremacy and saying, hey, let me just get a black man to be a senator. I hear this Jewish guy. Let me make sure let me vote for him. I think this is the right thing to do. And they don't like it. They're losing in numbers and they're getting outnumbered. So that's what I think was going on. So I was heated a little bit because I'm like, don't bring Black Lives Matter in this. We have nothing to do with this. I speak on the behalf of black people. That ain't our battle. Only thing black folks were doing, we were voting. They were out protesting. No, they were out networking, canvassing neighborhoods. And, we trying to get our other stimulus check. We good. We ain't doing nothing. We up there trying to get Biden, make sure, we trying to stay on Biden to make sure he do right for the black agenda. And them white folks, they mad. They are angry. They are so angry. They're very, very angry. And they can't believe that the world that they're living in, they got to share the power. You got to share it now. It's not just you anymore. And they can't stand that. And they're afraid. They're fearful. And they're angry. Because people is rising up. So I want to say this and about we're gonna get into celebrity gossip. Now I will open up the phone lines and let y'all speak up for anybody that's up because I know y'all are asleep. So for those that are gonna catch the replay, thank you. I'm going to talk about Kanye West and this whole Jeffree Star, another clout chaser. So Jeffree Star probably is the most desperate man for attention that I've ever seen. Now, mind you, this man is a millionaire. Mind you, he got millions of subscribers. But mind you, he's not happy with those. So he's addicted to attention. So the guy that he had before with the long peen, he ain't with him no more with the birthmark on his face. He not with him no more. So now he decided to have somebody on TikTok to get on there and say, well, it's rumored that, he sleeping with Kanye West. They both live in the same city. They're sleeping together. And that is why Kim Kardashian is avoiding Kanye West. And I'm saying if Kanye West was that way, he will not be with nobody looking like a Jeffree Star. That don't even sound right. That don't even look right. That don't even look right. I don't see it. And if it's true what that guy said that he was with previously, Manhole, that was with him previously, he said that Jeffree Star can't take no peen. He said that Jeffree Star hole back there is dry. So you mean to tell me Jeffree Star, so Kanye West, he's by, and the person that he's with is Jeffree Star? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. No evidence, no pictures, no videos on a Jeffree Star. He is obsessed with attention because he don't have the success like James Charles. So this man look like he need to be in a horror movie. Gonna put out this with some people on TikTok and they ain't got no evidence at all. Oh yeah, 100, and then had the audacity to put a picture he came out and said, well, I'm ready for Sunday service. Yeah, you need to be on Sunday service. Get on that altar and get delivered. Somebody, you ready for Sunday service? You need to be going to Sunday service and get delivered and get on somebody's altars. The preacher needs to lay hands on and deliver you. That's what you need to go to Sunday service for. So he put that out there. He's trying to paint this narrative that he's smashing Kanye West. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, when I saw that, I was like, this is a fool. This is a foolish. Anybody believe that? You're crazy. If you believe that, we need to see proof. Where's the evidence? Now, we don't know all the details that Kim and Kanye, we don't even know for a fact that Kim Kardashian is divorcing Kanye, because last time I checked, there's no court documents that Kim have actually filed divorce. And if you remember anything with Cardi B and her husband, people can file divorce, but that don't mean that they will see through it. They can change their mind. No, Jeffree Star didn't say that. I'm just saying other people were saying it on TikTok, and I believe that Jeffree Star actually helped with that to spin that narrative, because I know that man operate. He's very messy. He have other people to do his dirty work, and he be in the background somewhere laughing. But he posted a picture, and he's talking about, oh, I'm ready for Sunday service. And I just want to say this, y'all. When I saw that, I was like, when you have so much money, but you're unhappy, I believe he's very unhappy. I believe that. I believe he's very unhappy. And he's mad that James Shaw got more supporters of him. And so now what he's doing, I'm going to try my best to be in the news. I'm going to try my best not to be known as just a YouTuber. And I'm going to do anything possible to make it in the news. The black guy, that didn't work. So let me hop on another black guy. Let me hop on this Kanye West to make myself relevant. Period. So before I go, I will open up the phone lines. I know you all probably sleepy and tired. I get it, because I came very, very late. I rarely come late and do a video, but I had a busy day today, and I was like, I only had time to just come on and speak to y'all right now. So if y'all want the phone lines open up, let me know in the chat. If anybody want the phone lines open up, I will open it up for you all. And I want to say thank you to the producers for being in my inbox today and telling me to go ahead on and to do a video. We want to hear your take on it and stuff like that. That's why I said black people continue to win. Black people continue to get involved in politics. It is changing. You see in Baltimore, Maryland, they have a black mayor. He's about 36 years old. You see the Corey Bush. She's out there in Missouri. I believe she's a congresswoman. So, it's changing. And look what happened in Georgia. So this is just the beginning. And then I'm hearing that Stacey Abrams is going to run for governor in 2021. I'm sorry, in 2022. I think next year, I think that she's going to run for governor. So I saw her. So this world is changing. Let me put the number on the screen if anybody want to call in, because I just had to top on them two subjects.
Your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions, press 2.
Let me put the number on the screen. So if anybody want to call in, you can call in now. And when it comes to that, but it's really sad. I'm shocked that white people is having this. To
start your show now, press 1.
Your show is scheduled to start in 12 seconds. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
A special election or an election
Blog Talk Radio.
After the general, usually turnout is low. But this was different in Georgia. Turnout was high. It was high in Georgia. And that's why right now, both Ossoff and both Reverend Warnock, they're both going to go into the Senate, because you know why? Because of the groundwork of Stacey Abrams, because of the groundwork of Black Voters Matter, because of the groundwork of all these organizations that was on the ground. They did that. They actually hit the ground. They did not just depend on President Obama to go and speak. They actually hit the boots on the ground and they made sure people came out and vote. You even had Boosie voting for the first time. Let's go to the phone lines. 8776, caller, you on air.
Hi, Mr. Wiley. How are you? I just got off from work. How are you?
Hey.
How you doing? Did you see what happened in D.C.?
I did see it. Did you see what happened? Tell me how you feel about that.
Well, here's the thing. I found myself laughing. I was just, and it was like a real deep laugh in my chest, and I didn't understand why I was laughing so hard. And I figured that I was laughing for my ancestors because you see a snake eating itself. I said, oh my God, look at this. Was that crazy? That was just weird.
It was really weird. It was foolish. It was very foolish. Well, what was going through your mind when you saw that, when you were laughing? Were you shocked?
No, well, here's my thing, okay? I called several times before, so you know my opinion on politics. I really have very deep, complicated opinions. But here's my thing. On one hand, I look at the preamble and its articles. There's 10 articles, and in this articles, it states if the government ever come corrupt, it is the people's right to demolish the government. It is their right to devolve. I'm sorry, it was just too much to demolish the government. So that's in the preamble, okay? But my thing is so much, and a lot of this stuff that happened, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. A lot of this stuff that happened is the media fault, both the Democrats and the Republicans. Because from the first time that Donald Trump looked like he was a real contender for presidency 4 years ago, they kept saying that everybody who was voting for Donald Trump was not college educated and things as such. And then the thing that Hillary said about, people who voted for Trump, what she say, like despicable people or something like that. Okay. So, and then my whole thing, and then all through his presidency, whether he was right or wrong, it was the degrading of people. And so when you degrade people like that so much, either two things gonna happen. Either they're gonna crawl back in a hole somewhere, or they're gonna come out fighting. And they came out fighting. It's one thing you got to remember, that if you look at Donald Trump, he lost this election, but he lost this election and he has 72 million votes. People can't grasp that when the people voted for Donald Trump, they was voting with their feelings, their hearts, not even a political agenda. They was voting because they felt that was right. That's a different vote for somebody who's voting because a marketing campaign was so well, and they got the people out to vote. That's a different vote. That vote means, even though he got less, those votes were more because there was emotions behind those votes. And that's what I tell people. You got to be careful how you talk to folks. I was on a thing with my mayor, and he kept saying Trump voters. And I kept saying, you keep saying this, and you don't understand that that's divisive talk. You're still talking about American citizens here. Whether you like them or not, whether I like them or not, you're still talking about American citizens that do have rights, regardless of their platforms. Mm-hmm. And when you're in a public space, when you occupying one of those public positions, you can't. That is, if you say Trump is divisive, but don't, in the same tone, on the same side of the coin, when you're saying Trump voters and Biden voters, that's divisive. That's divisive. It should say American voters. You get what I'm saying?
I feel you.
So,
I hear you.
I see that a lot of things got built up, and there's a lot of emotions in there. But to me, like I said, I'm a Black woman. You know what I'm saying? I have Black sons, and I understand. I see this, and I consider myself a woke person. So, and I voted for Biden, and I'm down with Black Girl Magic, and I'm down with I push the Black agenda as much as I can because I want to see my people succeed as much as they can. I mean, like, come on, something has to give here.
All right. Well, we thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we speaking about what happened in D.C. So, oh gosh, I hung up on somebody else. Call back in 267. I'm sorry if you in here. Anonymous, you live on air. Anonymous.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, first off, I want to say that I am beyond mortified for our country. Like every other country is laughing at us right now because of how Trump handled this. It makes us look weak and vulnerable. And taking that into consideration, the tensions were already high when he decided to end alliances with countries that we, I guess in a way, solely rely on. We get all of our materials from China or Asian countries, and Africa now. So just seeing how he started ending alliances towards the end of his presidency was a real eye-opener. And I think it was setting everything into place to make it seem as though, to make America great again, we have to end these alliances and we have to be for self. And given these, I'm not trying to cuss, these nincompoops, I'll just use that, the narrative that he's going to be their savior. Whatever he says is the right way. And I feel like you gotta lack common sense to believe everything that he's preaching. Like there was more than enough sufficient local law enforcement, marshals, FBI, like whatever needed to be called in at that moment was not activated. He allowed those people to get through, I think it was 4 levels of security.
Oh, yes.
And let that have been a Black man, we already know he would have been shot at the gate. I witnessed them talking to these protesters with so much care and attention. I've seen one officer like hosing down some protesters from the feet. And it's like, okay, but where's the gas? Where's the rubber and steel bullets at? It was just, I don't really have words for it, but at best, like it was just embarrassing. And I don't know what's next to come. We really don't know. Like they took over the Capitol. They could be heading for other federal buildings or banks and postal offices. We don't know because these people lack common sense. And it's bad when other white people feel the embarrassment and want to disassociate themselves from these Trump supporters.
I feel you on that. You're exactly right. Well, we thank you so much for calling in. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go to the next caller. The number is 646-716-8447. We got another caller. Let me bring you on to 7131. Caller, you on the air.
Okay, let me get this out real quick. You hang up on me one more time as I waited all day to make sure I was with you all night. Okay, I'm going to let that go. But, how you doing, Wiley?
All right, go ahead, sister.
Okay, I think this is all planned out. He knew exactly what he was doing when he went to the rally. He knew what he was doing with his Twitter. And he knew what was going to happen when he got to the Capitol. Okay?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, but that's you.
So, this was all planned out. I believe it was all planned out. He knew exactly what was going to happen. That's why the security, they was able to go through security. This was his way of possibly, this is only maybe my one thought, so he can create martial law.
Okay.
And if he does martial law, I believe it will prolong the people in office for a little while longer. That's my allegation, my alleged allegation.
Okay, well.
So have a good. What?
So how would you feel when you saw all of that going on today? Were you upset? Were you happy? How were you feeling?
Oh, I was cracking up because I knew it was about to happen.
Oh, you knew
that man would do anything and everything. Yeah, that man would do everything. He's a narcissist. He's a narcissist. He is a sadistic narcissist. He will try. His father raised him to don't lose. I'll whip your ass if you don't lose. Okay. You better not lose. I'll whip your ass.
No cussing now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll beat your butt. But you understand, he's a narcissist. He does not like losing, and he will do everything in his power to make sure he don't.
Right. Okay. All right. So, do you feel like white people can't? Why do you think that white folks did that? Why do you think they went to the U.S. Capitol and did that property damage and caused so much problems?
Because they can. What you talking about? Let a black person do that. Trust and believe. Mm-hmm. They'll be digging his grave before he gets to the gate. Okay.
Facts. I'm saying like we wouldn't be able to even get on the ground of the U.S. Capitol if those were black people.
Hell,
they would have not, we wouldn't even be able to even get to the gate. Better yet, in Nancy Pelosi room, we in her office. Do you know how many?
Okay.
Do you know how many they would have sprayed that place up? It's no way in the world we would have got away with that. But they had, unfortunately, this is where their biases came in. They showed their true colors that we police differently. And I'm glad that people were able to see this on international television. Now you see how they police their own people versus how they police black people. It's totally different.
Tell it.
How they police their own people. They will help their own people down, even though they breaking the law. We're gonna help you down the stairs. Or I will take a selfie with you. Oh, come on in. Come on in, just tear it all up. Those are black people. Oh, nowhere in the world. The aggressiveness would have been there. They would have had their guns drawn and they would have used their weapons. Once they would have started breaching the gate, even before that, it would have been a lot of bodies in those streets. It would have been a lot of bodies. It would have been a total different scene if those
mass shooting.
But that's because one thing that about DC, and this is where the people that's preaching defund the police, because they're like, look at all this police, all this money we spend to pay the police their salaries, and they allow all of these people to just take over the U.S. Capitol. Well, we don't need to be paying our tax dollars for that, because that's whack security, bad policing, and of course, every agency needs to be investigated. But they're probably not going to do that.
Every last one of them.
Because it's their people. Because anytime that black folks, when I would go back to California when the Black Panthers, when they went to the state capitol in California. Now, mind you, back in the day, California was, you had a right to bear arms. You can have your weapon out in the open. But once those Black Panthers went there, Governor Ronald Reagan, they changed the law to say, oh, you can't be out here with your weapons out in the open. They literally changed the law because they were so afraid of what are these black people going to do. But now let's fast forward to today. No type of action. Them white folk just went through like they owned the place, like they were just coming home.
You ain't never lied.
And now we as taxpayers are going to have to pay for all of this property that's been damaged, the windows and all of this stuff that have been damaged. And now 4 families have to grieve tonight because they lost 4 people's lives were lost tonight. And it would you didn't have no right to be there. Now I do feel wrong that this woman was killed, but what was you thinking when you're trying to breach into a place when people got guns? You better be glad it was just one person. I mean,
because white privilege.
Oh, absolutely.
Anything was going to happen to them.
Absolutely. You're right. And then there was a guy, he was on, my gosh, it was a guy, I was watching it on Instagram, and he was like, well, we went, I'm trying to tell y'all, it wasn't Antifa, it was us. We did this. We had the cops running. We did all this stuff. If that was a black person, they would have bust through that door, and that person, they would have been arrested quick, fast, in a hurry. But hey,
without question.
But hey, here they go. It's totally different. I'm not shocked, but just get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be, just get ready. I know y'all angry. It's black people going to continue to rise. Stuff. We're going to continue to take over the political space. But go ahead, sister. What's your last point?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I want to get back so you can get to your other callers. But it's going to be some real stuff, I think, within the next 30 days.
Oh, absolutely.
That people really need to be aware of their surroundings and all the Karens and Karenettes and Karahoods. We need to be very visual of our surroundings.
And also,
we got mad white people.
That this is the ending of an era. No, I believe this is the beginning of an era. This is the beginning of white resistance, and you will continue to see white resistance. Okay, ever since President Obama got elected, white people have been resistant of change ever since then. And now that a black woman is in the seat and vice president, now you have a black woman that now have the deciding vote in the Senate. They're now even like, oh wow, a black woman. If you look at it, if you look, it's a black woman, and to them, she's black. Wherever how we try to spin it, right? A black woman in there as the vice president, having the deciding vote to break the tie in there. They don't like that. They don't like that change. They don't like this country. Its country is changing, and Trump has been feeding into that energy. When they used to, when Trump was running, remember back in the day, that person would be carried out in a stretcher. He would say all of these words and all of these buzzwords or these attack words, these dog whistles that he would preach to his followers, and they believe this stuff. You can't tell one,
right.
So it was a couple. They said, well, I do believe the election is rigged, but she said, but we still vote and stuff like that. If it's rigged, why are you still out there voting? And Trump, what gets me with some of those Republicans, they won a lot of seats in the House of Representatives. They picked up a lot of seats. So if it was so much election fraud, how y'all came out as winners, winning a lot of seats, and then you try to stick up for Trump, but you won your seat, but you said, well, it wasn't no election fraud in my race. It was just in there for president. That don't make sense. Because if it was fraud, it'd be fraud all the way around. So it's just, y'all are believing this lie, and it's really, really crazy. But the Republican Party, they have something right now where now they have a sector in the Republican Party that is very vocal, and they pulls up to state capitals and to the U.S. Capitol, and they have to deal with those Trump publicans that's very vocal. And then they also have to think of Trump, even though, Trump going to be on Fox News. He's going to be dominating the news cycles even more once he's out of office, because Fox News is going to give him that platform. And all these other, conservative networks, they're going to give Trump that voice. They're going to allow Trump to speak. And Trump definitely going to travel around the country, and he's going to raise as much hell as possible. And he will be.
He's like a hungry snake that can't let go.
Yes, and he will be back in 2024. He will be back in 4 years to run, unless he's locked up.
It's not his daughter.
It's gonna be.
It's not his daughter.
It's somebody. It's not gonna be the last of Trump. But we thank you so much for calling in, sister.
Thank you. Have a blessed morning.
All right, you too. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, 4804 caller, you're on air. 4804.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, Wiley. How are you?
All right.
Good. I just want to introduce the topic of religion to this conversation. Hello.
Okay.
We're talking about just the white supremacists that followed Trump and supported him. But there were a lot of black men that supported Trump. For example, Ice Cube and Lil Wayne. There were a lot of black men that broke off and supported Trump. Also, the religious community as well was supporting Trump. You saw a lot of people out there with Jesus signs and stuff today with their flags. So we need to look at the big picture. And the big eye opener for me was when I saw the leader of the Proud Boys. He's a Latino, Afro-Latino. I thought the Proud Boys were all rednecks. When they arrested that man and showed him, he's just as brown as you and me. So what do you think about the fact about how religion played into it and how black men started siding with Trump because they didn't like the fact that Biden was a part of those laws that Clinton passed, the 3 strikes you're out, and also a part of, Kamala Harris, the way they see that she sent a lot of black males to prison.
Right. Well, what I see for black men, I agree. I think the Democrats need to make a policy, and when they go out to the streets, they got to have a message tailored to black men. Right. It is a problem that they lose in a lot of sport, even though black men still voted in the 80 percentile, but they can't continue to lose black men to the Republican Party. So what they have to do, they have to tailor their message and policy. Biden's going to have to put a lot of policy and right a lot of wrong when he become, sworn in office to really let black men know, hey, we here for you. We here for you. We're going to make criminal justice reform. We're going to make sure that you can get into the cannabis business as well. We're going to make sure we can expunge records. They got to be more stern when it comes to African-American men. Because the Republicans did a good job as to say, oh, they passed these laws. They passed the Clinton bill and Biden did this for you. He wrote the bill. So that resonated to a lot of, black men and a lot of black, men that voted
and
for
what
Trump.
About the Latinos?
A lot of Latinos, they love, you got to understand. You got to understand and do research and see what is their interest. What do they like? You just can't make a blanketed statement because Latino men is different from Latino women. So that's why you have to put boots on the ground and you have to talk to those people and make sure don't wait until election time. You need to be talking to those people throughout the year, way before election, so you can know how to make policies to make sure that they stay within the party that you represent. But if you just come out and just say, oh, all Latino people are not understanding that it's a difference between Latino men, but Latino women, as well as black men versus black women. You have to have boots on the ground and have conversation with black men and see do black men want? What is their interest? What do they want from their politician? What do they want from the Democrat Party? So if you're not willing to do that, then you will continue to lose them.
Can I ask you what was your thought when you saw the leader of the Proud Boys?
I mean, I didn't think no type of ways. You know what I'm saying? Because you have a right to do what you have to do.
You didn't expect him to be a redneck?
No, I didn't expect it because you have some foolish people that join anything. You know what I'm saying? That can be whatever ideology that you have, you just believe in it. But my thing is this: why can't they disband the Proud Boys like they disband the Black Panthers? None of these black organizations were able to survive they literally told them organizations up. How these other organizations still haven't picking up all this traction. See, this is why it's so important. I think when Biden get involved, he's going to have to stop all of those terrorist groups because that's what they is. They are domestic terrorist organizations, and they need to get the Department of Justice and all these other agencies to stop them and break up those organizations because that's not good for the country. That's why I have to say about the situation.
Well, one last question. I'm gonna go ahead and get off. Why do you think Lil Wayne and Ice Cube different people like that already started coming out to support Trump?
I think honestly, I think they're attracted to the celebrityness, and I think they're attracted to the power and I think they're attracted to Trump because he's so powerful. He's really, if you look at hip hop artists, they made a lot of songs about Trump. So I think that's the reason for it. Unfortunately, with Ice Cube or with Lil Wayne, particularly with Ice Cube, he was preaching a lot of stuff or was trying to help black people out with an agenda, but you forgot about the Black Congressional Caucus have already put that in action, but the Senate did not want that to go through. So a lot of stuff that he was trying to speak to Trump about in a hotel, instead of them having a public forum, but he did it secretly, it made Ice Cube look bad. It's like Ice Cube was used to pander to the black man vote. Because if he was really about making change for black men and change in laws and policies, he would have invited Ice Cube in the first 100 days of his administration. He would have had the line of communication open with all his policy advisors instead of waiting at the last couple of months until election time. Okay, now Ice Cube, let me take a piece of your plan and add it to the platinum pen. And the platinum pen that Trump had was actually 2 pages. It was like about 2 pages. Well, it wasn't that detailed. It was like it was rushed.
I feel like this really held up a mirror to the black community, how divided the black man is from the black woman. The black women really got out there and pushed the Democrat position, and the black men were falling away to support the Republicans. So as a race, we are divided.
I think
gender-wise,
as a race, yes. I think that black men need to be more unified as black women because, like I said, black women tend to organize better than black men. We have to be more. We have to have more organizations because, like black women, they could be on a conference call. It's organizations where black women be on a conference call every Sunday where they talk about issues and they raise money. It needs to be more black male groups that's doing that, right? You need to really see that where black men come together and join organizations, not just in fraternities, but also regular black men outside of the education system. But we need to have more unity as black men. I don't think that we're so divided because black people still vote at a high rate for Democrats versus the other people, even black men, right? So that we're not going to just throw them out as though like all black men vote for Republicans. That's not true. Majority of black men still vote for Democrat.
But Wiley, what I want to say to you is that there's some big YouTubers or whatever that were all against Biden. They were all in support of Trump because they did not agree with the 3 strikes you're out that Clinton put in and that Biden was a part of. So black males, because they make up the majority of arrests, they feel some type of way about it. Whereas black women, a lot of us came out and voted, and we were really pushing this ticket. And especially black women who went to college, who may be AKAs or Deltas or whatever, can identify with Kamala. But then you have our black males who are saying, but we're being incarcerated at a higher rate than any other race in this, country. We can't support a man who called us super predators.
Right, but
so
that's
black
why
men and black women, we are on 2 different paths.
Right, but you got to understand, Trump didn't make it no different. Trump's, if he was all about creating different policies, why didn't he do it when he was in office? He didn't do no better. He directed the Department of Justice to not, to throw out those police decree, let these police departments do whatever. They don't need no federal oversight and all of that. But if you was for to help black men, why are you still instructing them to go out of the drug offenses with marijuana and all of that? So I just think that we will see how this goes. Again, Biden was not the president. That was President Bill Clinton. And I think people get it twisted that Biden did not sign that law. Now he did write it. He was the author of it, but he couldn't put it in action without Bill Clinton's signature. Bill Clinton did that. So Bill, you got to understand, Joe Biden was never the president. So this is the first time that he will be the president. And what black men have to do is bring your grievances to the man that have the power, in which it will be President Joe Biden. So they got to come together and they got to network, and we got to all have to come together and put a plan and to say, hey, you got to make sure you change some policies when it comes to criminal justice. So a lot of black men got to do a lot of work and network, just like black women, because black women do a better job, I think, in networking and actually putting boots on the ground.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good night.
All right, you too. Let's go to this last caller. 2460, call you on the air.
Okay. Hi, Wiley. This is Petty Patty.
Hey.
Thank you for adding me on Clubhouse the other day. And shout out to Day for helping me. I've called early this morning because, first of all, I'm not sleepy. But second of all, there are two things. There are quite a bit of things going on. Mm-hmm. First of all, since the lady just got off the phone talking about men being incarcerated for marijuana and things like that, one of the policies in the CARES Act bill 1 and 2, and the last one, is to change marijuana into legalized recreational marijuana in order to be able to use that to free the incarcerated black population that have been locked up and arrested for, little minor causes of marijuana. So that's number one. Let's not forget that. There was a comment made a little while ago on the thread that was saying that Biden's not for black people. And that may or may not be true. But because we've come out in such great numbers, ever in history, to vote, that power alone has become very intimidating. So he's not going to be able to ignore it. So even if he's not for us, he's going to have to consider what he's going to do and factor in what he needs to do for African Americans and minorities. That's fact number 2. Now the third is what's the going on with Trump? Trump has 2 things that he's got going on. No, he does not want to leave the presidential office. He likes the popularity and the celebrity status that comes with it and everything. But ultimately, he wants to be a dictator. So with that being said, his thing that he's doing now is that he wants it to be known that even if I'm not the president, because I've started to accept that, I still have the power to make change. I'm just as great as the president, if not greater. So he's actually, what he has started is his own militia. So if you think he's going away, he's not going away. He's going to be maybe on the level of an Osama bin Laden or those other people that are considered third party or terrorists because they don't believe in what the dictatorship, what the democracy is of their country or whatever. But that's what he's building. That's what he's building, and that's why he doesn't care. Now, some of the senators that was with him to object to the electoral vote today, a lot of them have changed their mind because, see, they forgot that the constitutional amendments that state that if you have unbecoming behavior of official representative, you can be suspended or removed. So a lot of them are starting to change their position because they don't want to lose that job because it's cushioning. It doesn't pay a lot of money, but it brings a lot of prestige. And that's the reason why some of these other little celebrities and little rappers or whatever, that's their same reason for going along with BS, as you could say. It's about the money and the prestige that comes along with it. They may not necessarily believe it, but what they want is the money. Some people sell themselves, whether it's for $1 or whether it's for $1 million. They're just selling themselves. But that's all I had to say, Riley. I've never called in before, so I had to get all that off my chest, okay?
Facts. And the week shows he had to go, even when we come with Biden gets sworn into office. Black men, black women, whomever. You have to apply pressure to the administration. You have to make sure that you stay on the U.S. Capitol, not to do no property damage, but to be there with your petitions, to be there with the people, to let them know that we are here to meet your state, to meet your representative, your senators, and to apply pressure. No, we're not going to be given this. We have to apply pressure to get it. We have to.
Absolutely. this is very intimidating for a lot of the Caucasian community because they've never experienced this before. So imagine, just like when you were a kid and you got a new sister or you got a new brother, you felt something about somebody was invading your space, or you were going to share your authority, your toys, your room, or whatever. They're feeling this. A lot of them are not college educated. As a matter of fact, you heard through the election cycle, they added a whole new category where they said uneducated voters. Now, I would have been offended if I was one of them uneducated voters, that you got a category that says that about me, but they didn't, because they don't have the intelligence to know that that was a put down. But not everybody that was in those masses are unintelligent. But what is going on, and I mean, for some of you all that are social science majors, or some of you all that are poli-science majors or psychology majors, you all know that this is called a herd community, where the collective give their authority to a head person, and that collectively they think that they're stronger because individually they're weaker.
All right. We thank you so very much for calling in.
All right, then.
All right. Thank you. Okay. We want to say thank you to everybody that have called in today. All right. Thank you so very much. If you didn't want to call in, you still got time. We got time for one more caller. I know it's late. We're not gonna do a show this late again. Okay, we had to do it today. I was real busy today, but we are good. I didn't even get time to do the thumbnail because that's how busy I was today. But I'm good now. So I was just watching CNN. They will. Biden would be the next president of the United States. He would be the next president. He won this. And unfortunately, y'all had to see all of this stuff today. But just keep your guards up, and we got to go to work. Black folks, we still got to go to work. We still got to be out here networking and apply pressure to those in power so we can get our Black agenda implemented from this Biden administration. Thank you so very much, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace. And thank you so much for calling in today. Thank you. Hey.